In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to generate random numbers in C programming. There is a library function named rand. If you call the function rand, it's going to return you a pseudo-random number each time. So if I have a variable, say k, and I'm calling the rand function and assigning the return value of the rand function to variable k, then if I print k, I'm going to get a random number. So I'm just printing the content of k. Now in order to use the rand function, since it's a library function, the declaration of this rand function has been given in stdlib.h header. So you need to include stdlib.h for using rand. So let me just execute this program. I'm executing the program to show you that indeed rand function is returning a random number. You can see that it's 16807 returned by the rand function in k. Now I can just, if I need say 10 random numbers, then I can go on calling the rand function for 10 times. That means I can keep this section in a for loop, and that will just go on iterating 10 times, and each time it will call the rand function and will print the content of k. So I'm just putting the whole thing in a for loop. So now each time, on each iteration of the for loop, the rand function is going to be called once, and it is going to return a random number to k, and we are printing k. So I'm going to get 10 random numbers. So here I'm executing the program. Here you can see that we get 10 random numbers here. Now the problem with this is that it's not purely pseudo-random. If I go on executing the program once more, the same series of random numbers are going to be generated. You can see that the same series is generated. The first one is 16807, the last one is this number. You just notice this, I'm executing once more so that you can understand it is generating the same series. I'm executing once more. Here you go. It's the same series. Now, if we want to generate pseudo-random numbers truly, then each time the rand function should give us different series or different random numbers. It should not be the same one. If it is giving the same one, then you may not be able to utilize this kind of function in a lottery gaming system. In lottery gaming system, each time we need to have different random numbers. So possibly we want different random numbers in all the cases. So in order to generate different random numbers on each call, what you need to understand first is that how the rand function is generating the random number. Actually, you can generate a random number only if you are given another number. If you are given a number, then only you can put some logic on that number and can generate some other numbers. Say I'm giving you 1 to 12. Then you can just generate another number doing 1 square plus 2 square. So in this way, by applying some sort of logic on a given number, we can generate random numbers logically. So on given a number, we can generate another number by applying some logic. So this particular number on which the rand function is working to generate the other numbers is called the seed of the random number. Now since the seed remains same and the logic of the random number is applied on the same seed, so each time when I'm calling the rand function, it is generating the same random number series. So in order to get the different series of random numbers, what we need is to change the seed at the very beginning of our program. And for that purpose, in order to change the seed, we have a function named srand given in the same header stdlib.h. So if I want to change the seed, I can just do something like this. I'm just supplying 100 here as parameter to the srand function. So the seed is now going to be 100. Srand function changes the seed for the random number. Now if I execute the program, it's going to be the different random number series. You can see that it's different now. Earlier it was something else. Now if I change the seed once more, say I'm giving 75, then it's going to be different again. You can see that it's different again, no more the same one. So what we need to do is to change the seed each time before calling the rand function. Now again, the problem here is that if I hardcode this seed here in my program, then each time when the object file is going to be executed, it will remain 75 always. You just cannot go on to your client's place and change the seed each time prior to the execution, don't you? So the seed has to be changed dynamically on each execution. Now for that, there is only one value in our computer that is changing at each moment, and that is the time of our computer. If I can put time here instead of 75, then on each execution the time of the computer is going to be different, and we'll be using the time value here as seed. In that case, the seed will be different on each execution. Now, how to get the time here? Actually, there is a function time that's going to give you the time here in C. So I'm declaring a variable t in order to catch the time, and in order to get the time, there is a function time. You need to call the time function. It's going to give you the time as number of seconds elapsed since the epoch. Epoch is the origin from which the system starts counting the time. In our normal calendar, we always have an epoch. For example, the Gregorian calendar takes the birth of the Jesus Christ as epoch, from which we count the time and calculate our calendar. So here in the system, generally it is taken as, in case of C, actually it is taken as 1st January 1970 midnight. That's the epoch. So if I call the time function, and what you need is the header time.h that contains the declaration for the time function. Now what the time function returns, we need to supply null here. Otherwise, you can supply address of some variable. The time will be assigned to that variable. I will discuss that particular issue when I will be dealing with the time function later on, date and time later on in this tutorial. Then I will be discussing the time function in great detail. Now I will be using this time function only for the random numbers. So you just pass null here, and what the time function is going to do, it is going to return the number of seconds elapsed since the epoch. That means 1st January 1970 midnight. So each time when you are going with the execution, the number of seconds from the epoch is different. So obviously the value for t is going to be different. Now if I supply t, each time it's different, so the seed for the random number is different, and we are going to get different random number series on each execution. I'm running the program. Here you get a series something like this. Now remember the first number 890301598. I'm executing once more. You can see that it's different. Each time it's different. You just notice the last 4 digit is different. So we are getting different series of random numbers in this case by changing the seed using the time of the system. Now if you need, say, a random number for 2 digits, then what you can do, you can just apply the modulo operator here. If I apply the modulo 100, then it's going to be from 0 to 99 always, because it is the remainder when we divide by 100. So the remainder can only be in the range from 0 to 99 if I divide a number by 100. So it's going to be always 2-digit number. Now you can see that is 2-digit number always. Here it is. So always different. Similarly, if you need a 3-digit number, you can just apply the modulo operation using 1000. That will give you a 3-digit number maximum on each execution. So this is how we deal with the random number in C. This is how we generate the random number. Please remember that you need to change the seed, and it's better to change the seed with the time of your system. Now you can get the time by using the time function, passing null, and it's the number of seconds since the epoch, and always that is different.